3 had some news. We were Shay Dixon, who we trust over there as much as anyone, Billy Embody and the crew over at the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you're following them at on3.com, Bengal Tiger all over social media. LSU going to move forward here on this defensive tackle recruitment from Grand Valley State. JVR Suggs, who was offered last Wednesday by LSU, is going to be in earlier this week. He'll have 2 years of eligibility remaining after spending 5 years at Grand Valley State. Suggs took a red shirt in 19. The season in 20 was canceled due to the pandemic. His 21 campaign was cut short before it resulted in an injury. That said, he had a medical red shirt that season, so he's been on campus for 5.
He's got the John Emery
Still
plan.
adds 2. Those are the types of guys you need up front. You need those 23, 24-year-olds if you can get your hands on them, because it's just a different type of strength. Suggs logged 21 stops last season, 7 TFLs, 3 sacks. He had at least 1.5 tackle for loss in 8 of 11 appearances last year. So active for Grand Valley State. They were, of course, D2. So we'll see. They've already got Gio Paez committed and on campus right now.
Forget.
They have moved on. They did have some other news coming on. Aiden Huntington, who we've talked a lot about as one of these big defensive linemen who's available in the portal. He's an edge guy. He's an edge rusher, and LSU is sitting in a good spot. Hey, 6 foot, 280 pounds.
I think he just wants to play edge, because if you look at the school he's choosing between, if LSU is not on the list, he's looking at Tulane and Cal. So I'd imagine they'll give you whatever position you want to play. LSU is probably going to say, hey, you come here, we'll put on 15 more pounds on you.
And then you stick you in that 3 technique.
It's like, I want to rush the quarterback. Given the choice,
you'll get the chance to.
At D-tackle. Yeah. You got to earn it.
At that 3 technique.
Yeah.
So
let Pete get his hands on.
That's the latest on LSU's defensive tackle search. Is that they are looking for they're continuing to look, and they are staying in on the recruitment of JVR Suggs, who will be in town this weekend. Yeah, I guess he's going to be in town this week today.
I think Sunday through Tuesday. So he got in last night, and then he'll be on campus until Tuesday. And if you're LSU,
didn't he say it was his last visit? Right. I think he put that on Twitter, like, this is my last visit.
Because LSU was a late ad. He had his final 5, final 4, and then he re-released the list after LSU reached out to contact him. So that feels like a good sign. And you have the N at Grand Valley State. I mean, Brian Kelly is lore over there. And his son played with JVR Suggs. And
Garrett Dellinger did too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was Dellinger at the same high school, I believe, that Suggs was at?
Yeah, Kenzel Kelly was on the Grand Valley football team with Suggs this past season. And then
he was a senior when Garrett Dellinger was a sophomore. So I'm sure they had some battles.
So Kelly's kid was on
Grand Valley State
this year?
Mm-hmm.
All right. His other son's in the personnel department at LSU.
Yeah,
this should be...
Let's get her done, fellas.
Let's wrap this thing up, man.
Get that package together and wash our hands.
Yeah, right. Get this deal done. They need some defensive tackles. All right, so over the weekend, a couple of firsts. NFL rookie camps. We saw our first sign of Spencer Rattler in the black and gold. Looked pretty good, zipping it around out there. Some other guys making their debuts, including Malik Neighbors. Said they had to call off the bet between he and Jaden Daniels on who's going to take home the Rookie of the Year for $10,000 on it. I doubt that was their call. Right? I doubt that they got into camp and was like, hey, bro, you know what? Now that we have the money, let's call the bet off. I'd imagine that somebody within the NFL representation, whether it was with the Giants, the Commanders, or the NFL executive committee, was like, yo, LSU boys.
Goddamn LSU kids.
No more betting.
You're not Louisiana
We're not talking about betting. We're not putting bets on anything out loud. You guys can do this through text messages, but don't be talking about it in press conference.
Do not tell anybody publicly that you have any type of bets on anything.
Just say you cancel. I don't care if you cancel or not. Just say you canceled it. Yeah, because Poor Daniel Jones taking strays for no reason.
Yeah.
Not even there.
They're killing Daniel Jones.
On a beat somewhere.
First practice of the Giants. Let's call that bet off.
Wait, have you seen the press conference with Daniel Jones and his eyes are like...
Yes.
Yes. Seeing ghosts. Him and
Is he okay?
No.
What is it? What do you think he's on?
No, I think he's on nervousness. Like I'm a fraud, and everybody's about to know it for the second straight year.
Like the Jets coach.
Yes, exactly, and the Dolphins coach.
In the same situation.
Who's on LSU staff?
Yeah, it was. Who was it? It was Peyton Manning's quarterback coach in Denver, Adam
Gase.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, that was
Adam
Adam
Gase was on
Gase's-
LSU staff?
He was on LSU's last staff as an offensive analyst with Saban.
He's been riding that
Wow.
to the highest of highs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely.
Same with Cam Cameron.
But
Stay on the saddle,
that is
coach.
the football fraternity.
Yeah.
Like that is the coaching fraternity.
Where do you think he is right
Once
now?
you get in, Gase, he's an analyst somewhere.
That's a
he's
we-
a
we
quarterback's coach somewhere.
We talk about this every day. Matt House.
Matt House.
The worst LSU defense you will ever see in your lifetime. And he has a job.
You're in the frat. It's all good.
Look,
you know where the bones
come
are.
on over to
man.
Jacksonville,
Yeah,
bro. We'll be all right.
He coached the linebackers in the NFL. It's all good.
You want to
He
Super
doesn't
Bowl
have
with
a
the
job.
Chiefs?
Gase doesn't. He probably made. I mean, how much money has he made?
Oh, I mean, plenty.
I mean, he's made
Yeah.
enough money now where
We could get out this game and
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do this. I mean, that's
that's the life.
unless you are just a psychopath about it.
Bill Belichick, Nick Saban.
Even like anybody on that tree. I mean, once you make I mean, that's the thing about the career of a coach now is that, I mean, the LSU basketball coach makes $3 million a year.
Yeah.
That is in many. I mean, I know when I was making my decision on what I was going to do in my career, that I thought I wanted to coach. I thought I wanted to coach basketball. I thought I wanted to be a coach. And then I saw John Brady get fired 16 months after going to the Final Four at LSU. I mean, like, they hadn't been to the Final Four since '86. He had just taken him to the Final Four, and 16 months later, he's out of a job. But even at that time, he had gotten a significant raise after taking him to the Final Four, and he still wasn't making $1 million a year. Not that he wasn't making good money. I mean, he made a really good living coaching. Just the amount of money and what it has, how it's ballooned for assistant. I mean, LSU's defensive coordinator makes $2 million a year. I mean, Nick Saban getting a $1.2 million contract per season in 2000 nearly stopped business. I mean, it stopped traffic when it was going down. I mean, Saban was only the third college football coach to be paid over $1 million when LSU did that. Steve Spurrier, Bobby Bowden, and Nick Saban were the three that were making over $1 million at the time. Bowden made total sense. Spurrier made total sense. And even those guys were only making like $1.5 to $1.9 million a year. I mean, it wasn't like they were breaking the bank. Now you have coordinators making upwards of $2 million a year. It's just the amount of money that you can make in coaching now is it's generational. It's life-changing. It's incredible how the market has ballooned to what it is now, how much money truly is. I mean, and obviously we're starting to see all of that be regulated and be gone after, whether it's the NCAA or NIL or, even coaches' salaries at the, at the highest level.
Jimbo coaching this year?
Jimbo?
Yeah.
No way.
No, I don't think so. Adam Gase got a cool $20 million to walk away from the Jets,
Okay.
and now
Life is
works
good.
for Omaha Productions with Peyton.
Good for him.
Yeah, that talk about relationships.
I mean,
I liked Adam Gase.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I never. He let me do whatever I wanted.
that's how he got the Jets job. They
Exactly.
said that Peyton Manning called the owner
Yeah. Vouch for the guy.
and put his name on the line.
Look, you're going to hire Adam Gase, all right?
Look,
He
Look what we did on
He
offense.
taught me that Omaha cadence.
Omaha. Oh, apparently in the chat, thank you. We missed a recruit that LSU. I don't know if LSU was hosting, But Brandon Lane decommitted from his Michigan State visit and is on LSU's board, apparently.
Let's go.
Brandon Lane, 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle, South Dakota State transfer, and then went to Stephen F. Austin is in the portal.
Gotta have you, buddy.
Yeah.
Gotta have you. I mean, like, I just don't understand. Like, LSU is selling what is gold to a football player. Like, beyond the NIL stuff, you're going to get all of that, obviously. But more than anything, they've got playing time.
Like that's what I always thought about.
That's what I always thought, that a recruit, more than anything, I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a spot, not necessarily where I don't have to go compete, because those don't exist in sports, but just where's my fastest route to the field? How can I get on the field the fastest? Because at the end of the day, I just want to be evaluated and get to the league.
Yeah, and
I mean,
to me, it's like kids almost value the NIL part of it too much, because it's like, if you go to a school, LSU, Florida State, Ohio State, you go to that school and play on the highest level, somebody is going to pay you. No matter what it is, no matter what the amount is, somebody's going to pay you. If they see you on TV every weekend making plays, you're going to get paid.
CJ Daniels, I thought, said it the best when he was here.
I'm just trying to,
like, we asked him, what's the deal in NIL? I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm making sure it's all, we're all good. But I mean, like, I'm not down.
Plays.
It was like Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz. I mean, we were talking to Gordon about some NIL stuff last year during the baseball run. I mean, he met with both of those guys. Both of them were like, nah, I'm good. And it's no disrespect. We appreciate what you do. But if I take care of my business, I'm going to make my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like and I know those guys are, 1-1 and 2-2. I mean, like
1-1 and 1-2.
Yeah, right. In the Major League Baseball draft, that's, life-changing money. But I think it brings some perspective of how you look at it. Dominic Williams looking to break the bank for defensive tackles in NIL. To me, I kind of get it, because you know what Dominic Williams' agent and people are telling him behind the scenes? You're not going to get drafted. You're not going to be a high-round draft pick. So now is the time where you have to make your money. Right? Like, if you want to make money playing football, you have a better chance doing it in college than you do in the NFL, just because there's such a need for defensive tackle, and you have all the leverage. Right? That's why I think he was asking to, get paid more than any coach on LSU staff outside of Brian Kelly and Frank Wilson. I mean, it's absurd what these guys are asking for.
And it worked.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, that's the reason why they're doing it.
Oh, yeah. But how desperate are you for me? And it's a 1-year plan as opposed to the 4-year plan, right? Like, Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens, I think they did, like, the Canes thing, which is, like, one appearance if you win a national championship. But outside of, like, they didn't want to do anything else. Like, I want to focus on baseball.
Right.
Because we're at the end of our rope here. If we do everything that we need to do, we're going to win a national championship and get drafted 1-1-1-2. I don't really need anything else. For other cats that aren't going to go 1-1, I get it in a vacuum, but don't be surprised if this comes up. Even if he has a a good enough year to be drafted, they'll be talking about this on the panel during the draft of, oh, this is the guy that tried to break the bank in NIL and got,
Yeah, right. Like, and I don't mean Dominic Williams is not going to get drafted. I don't believe right now he's projected to be a first or second round pick, right? Which after that, you got to make the team. I don't think that he's not going to make a team, but I mean, it's not to say that his NFL life is going to be guaranteed, right? I mean, he's got a better chance of making more money now in college football than he does over the next 3 to 5 years under his rookie contract annually, per season. And I mean, yeah, I just think that's where, the real NIL cave of, that's the part you have to fix. That's the part where you have to say, okay, you have a defensive tackle on campus who's played so many snaps. He's this age. Here's his market value, right? Where he can't come in here and say, pay me $2 million. I mean, even in NFL free agency, there's a market that is set for a position, for a caliber of player, for, the contract. And I think that's where they have to get to where, you'll have those guys like Skeens and Cruz who come in and they're like, I don't need all this.
Good.
As long as I show up and do my job, I'm going to live a great life.
That's what you're trying to turn LSU foot. I mean, that's the message from Brian Kelly is we want guys, A, that want to be here, B, that want to be here, and C, that want to be here.
Yeah, and I hear that message. That message is
very convenient.
It's convenient when you miss on guys that are asking to be bought, right? And a month and a half ago, it felt like you were going to do anything that defensive tackles needed
to get
them, right? Whether it be, hey, rah, 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 LSU, come play for the tradition, or
rah, come play for the tradition fund.
Here's the check.
Yeah.
Like, come on in and play. And because you didn't want to play one game, I don't think means that you're completely out on it. I understand not paying somebody what they're not worth. If somebody's asking for $1 million and they're worth $200,000, it's like,
I get what you're doing. I see the game.
I know I'm desperate, but I'm not gonna screw the whole thing up.
Yeah, I don't want to get tested after this.
So it's just it's a dirty world right now, and LSU is
trying to find a tool.
They're trying to find their way of what it's going to be, because while we all hear Brian Kelly and I hear his message of they're not going after anybody that doesn't want to be at LSU, that makes completely sense. It makes a lot of sense. Don't think that Dominic Williams didn't want to be at LSU if the price wasn't right. Right? I think there is where you're Brian Kelly of saying, I'm not going to sell my soul to go get Dominic Williams. You also have to say, well, you can't be completely out on buying players, right? Because you're going to have to play that game to be competitive. Now, you got to pay fair market value. You got to make sure nobody's kind of duping you and making, and everything he explained in that soundbite following the one that popped makes complete and total sense. Dominic Williams walks into your locker room. He's the highest paid on the team, and he doesn't have the skins on the wall that Will Campbell, Harold Perkins, and Emory Jones does. You got a budding problem on your hands, right? Like, you got a potential problem that could break the whole locker room that's happening in front that, is brought on by NIL. So, it might be easier just to say, you know what, Dominic, Boomer Sooner, man. Good luck back home.
Yeah, good luck.
We would love to have you, but just it's
right.
The lemon's not worth the squeeze.
Right. You can't pretend like you're the Brian Kelly is some holier than thou by not paying Dominic Williams. Like Stephen Miller says in the chat, every player you get in the portal is bought. Like, you're still paying somebody. But if the price is too high, then that's sure, if that's the message you want to go with. But don't act like we want guys that want to be at LSU. Well, you still have to pay them.
Right.
Because they're not going to be in the transfer portal in the late window and then go, I'm good on NIL.
Yeah.
I just love the school.
Yeah, that's
Unless
true.
you got like a projected first round pick that's just like Cruz and Skeens.
Yeah, but they've been on campus. I'm talking about guys in the portal.
But I'd imagine even guys like Harold Perkins and Will Campbell who are happy. They're no threat realistically to say I'm leaving. That you have to approach them and say, hey man, look, here's the deal. I'm taking care of you. You know what I mean? Like, without you asking, here's our offer.
Yeah, you walk in there with it. That's why I think the Dominic Williams thing got as much run as it did, because LSU has – I don't think there's a real negotiation. This is what we're doing. Here's our packet. Go through it. If you like it, great. If you don't, bye. Like, I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room there.
JB in the chat, still beating the dead horse.
I've been saying that for a while.
JB.
You tell me what to talk about.
Grab a microphone, and in the middle of May, when LSU baseball's out of the championship hunt –
Not – yet.
And LSU defensively on the football team are missing on defensive tackles.
Left, right, and center.
Tell me what you want to talk about. Put into the chat what you want us to discuss.
Pick your topic.
Because over the weekend, LSU had a defensive tackle visitor from Michigan State. They got another visitor from Grand Valley State. We're going to have to talk about it. I would tell you again, showing up somewhere that is voluntarily, it's a volunteer for you to show up. You don't have to do this. And then bitching about it makes zero sense to
Especially
me.
this early.
Like, buddy,
on a Monday.
It's easy just to click off. Just Or
go find something you want to listen to.
leave a suggestion of what you would talk about.
Constructive criticism.
Or
Right?
go touch
I
some
understand that you believe we're beating a dead horse. It's new information on that horse that you claim is dead, but I'm just telling you that the horse is dead because it's the middle of May, and I'm looking around. Unless you want me to break down Spencer Rattler throwing it against Air this weekend,
15 times.
I
grass. He went 15 for 15 in
I think he
practice.
had
the
one
needle
drop.
really moves around here when we talk LSU football. It doesn't matter if we're talking coaching changes, lineup changes, roster changes, or missing on defensive tackles in the portal. People listen.
A
So,
lot of LSU equipment around here that's football related. What did you think we were going to talk about today?
but again, volunteering to show up somewhere, like nobody's forcing you to
This
come
isn't the
here.
DMV where you should
I mean,
show up
like,
upset.
If you show up somewhere and you're like, man, I don't like what they're talking about, I can leave.
Yeah, this is a
Or
conversation
I
at a
can
wedding.
just show my
reception.
misery and type in that I don't like what you're talking about. I would tell you, JB, I could give a damn what you think we're talking about is beating a dead horse or not. I would urge you to get the hell out of here if you
Because they
don't want
don't
to listen.
beat a
Touch
dead
grass.
horse.
You
know
They,
what I mean?
they shoot a dead horse in
Like,
the
just
head.
leave, buddy. It's all
Just
good.
walk away.
It's all good. But it's good to have you when you're here.
Yes. If you